Boy, bank, am I a bank? Boy, am I your ATM? Boy, dance, am I a dance? Boy, is this a fake romance? Boy, am I your ATM? I simply can't understand. Achilles, why you killing me? Why you killing me? Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Achilles, I still grow, 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 I still grow in the dark. I still grow, I still grow, I still grow in the dark. Yeah, yeah.
This has been the most chaotic, stressful, riveting, pressuring experience of my entire career. This morning alone just felt like the longest morning. I was coordinating between studios, 3 producers. I literally started getting ready for the press conference like 35 minutes ago or something. So I'm pretty tired, but I'm trying to stay positive. I spoke to God today and I was like, listen, I've done everything I can and I need you to give me strength right now because this is a lot. So, you know, I'm trusting in Him and I'm relying quite heavily on faith. Yeah. I think every public figure has a love-hate relationship with the media. You know, in some respects, we assume the media are mediators, and they're not. You know, it becomes tricky, and I guess I'm just here today to state the facts, and those of them who, because you know, we've been given the option to play the music, give them a listening session. I didn't want to, personally. I wanted the fans to be the first one to hear it. It's crunch time.
Boy, dance, am I a dance? Boy, is this a fake romance? Boy, am I your
I think where we are right now is that the general sort of consensus is that I think Ammara is now definitely a force to be reckoned with on the local scene. I mean, as evidenced by the countless hits that she has produced. And I think the making of the album was to almost initiate her into the sort of current sort of menu of stars, really. That's how we felt when we decided to jump in and partner in organizing the launch. So now, without further ado, I'll invite the lovely Ammara to come.
So when my team said to me, you know, I think we should have a listening session, I was like, whoa, 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 wait. The media gets to hear the album before the fan. And then they were just like, well, think about it. Maybe some of the media are actually Martians, so, you know, that would be really dope for them. Have you enjoyed it? Yeah, you did? Okay, great. So this album has been years in the making. We started, or rather I started writing, well, it happened in different bursts of energy. I'm one of those people who only writes when I feel like writing something. I don't believe in just churning out music for the sake of consumption and, you know, it's relevant today and then, you know, a year from now it's just, you know. So I pretty much remember Camille's Kick, for instance, is a song about my son, and it came to me in different parts. So it began before I fell pregnant, actually. Mbira songs occurred to me differently. So it sounded like a very happy Mbira melody, and I couldn't figure out what it was about. It sounded like a child. And I wasn't a mother at the time, so it didn't make sense. And I was like, I don't know what words to say on this because it just is so playful and childish. And sooner rather than later, I became pregnant. And then I was like, oh, okay, this is what God was trying to tell me. And so I wrote it in phases, and that was all of 2012. Then my parents passed away, and Ode to Mama came to me in the middle of that year, 2013. Havarare into Crystal Blue Moon. Next Lifetime was something that I did in 2013. And songs like Achilles have come later, Say No has come later, Glow in the Dark came in different parts. And what was complicated, one of the most challenging parts about this was finding the right producers for each individual song. I'm sure you've heard some of the stuff, and you can tell that it's very different from, say, What You Want, or, you know, Mukoko, or be it Achilles, even. Each song has its own strong standpoint, even though it falls under Afro-pop. What You Want happened very organically with Chingeto. Her jumping in my bed one morning and saying, hey, what you doing today? And I'm just like, I'm going to Ask Kid Studio, want to come? She's like, yeah. So I'm playing her the instrumental in the car, and she's like, what are you going to say on this song? And I was just like, I want to say to that guy, what you want, because it's just stressing me out to my life, you know. Very organic, true stories. Crystal Blue Moon is the song that you first heard today. That one was produced by Rocky and DJ Tamuka. Crystal Blue Moon is really just the analysis of what I see happening in my city, in Harare. There's a lot of love triangles going on. And the way that I love, and the way that I believe love should be, rather, is that when you love somebody, you should love them enough to let them go. And if it means that their happiness will be with somebody else, then you should be able to let them go and do that. And Crystal Blue Moon is the story of these two lovers spending their last night together and saying, I'm making peace with you. I'm so excited, and if I die in a car accident next year, it's okay, because I feel like you guys would have gotten just this absolutely beautiful body of works that's true to me and who I am, and I hope you like it. Achilles was a situation. Achilles was a real situation. I'm a very, I'm a kind person at heart. That's just the truth, and I don't mean to, you know, toot my own horn or whatever, but, you know, when I love the people that I love, be it my family, my friends, if you need anything, I got you. You know, I'm that person. When I can, I do. That's when people say to me, oh, thank you, and I always say, when I can, I do, because when I can't, it just means that I can't. When I don't, it means that I can't. And there was this particular person who took advantage of that, basically, and I looked around and I was just like, actually, these Ben 10s are flying around all over the place. You know, no shade to, okay, let me not say it. So, you know, no, I'm not going to say it. You know, it's out there, it's happening. It's a very common situation. We're in an age where women are becoming these, you know, even bigger powerhouses than before. Society is struggling to place us or really understand how to deal with us. And, you know, it's either we're being taken advantage of or shot down for just being who we are. And, you know, in the same way a man can provide for you, and nobody looks at, you know, the man like he's a horrible person for doing that, it's very abnormal for a woman to do the same thing and be appreciated in the same way. And I think it's become too common now for people to use the economy or our country as an excuse to take advantage of people who can help you because they love you, not, you know, not for any other particular reason, you know. And I had to speak on it. I had to purge. There you go. Strong question. Like who? Let me state the facts. I am somebody who's always believed in quality over quantity, right? So anytime I release any piece of work, it's when I am satisfied with what is good enough for consumption. I can consult the team, and that's very important as well. But if I can't sleep at night and I'm not happy with it, then I'd rather not release it. And my father had, for instance, 11 bodies of work, as opposed to other artists that have, a much larger opus. But it's the quality of the music that made the difference. And for me, Amasha is going to quench the thirst of people who have become accustomed to the quality that I deliver time and time again. Consistency in this respect is much more important to me than a timeline for the sake of quick consumption.
Hello, Ammara.
Hello.
My name is Jonathan.
I know.
Mbiri Amveka.
Mm.
I write for Germination.
Mm.
So my question is, there was a bit of controversy around the video Achilles.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the Achilles? Yeah, right. And I understand it was due to bad blood between you and the blacks, the guy called Blacks. Were you, you
Really?
two, we understand you were involved and then, things went sour and
What?
then...
Sorry, could you sorry, could you clarify on involved?
Involved is, since you say this album is all about your personal life, so I suppose this is what happened between you and Blacks.
That's a stretch. Okay. Wow. That is insane. Wow. That I never saw coming. Okay. Listen, all I can do is tell you the truth. Yeah. I have had the most riveting professional experiences with Blacks from the get-go. When it was Bachara, when it was What You Want, and we found that we had a similar taste in how we like to approach music videos. He's not somebody who's afraid to push the boundaries. And so when Achilles came up, we did the same thing. Quite literally, the hindrance about the Achilles video is it's actually sitting on a technical side. That's really it. We've sent it to South Africa last week for post-edit so that we can just get the final touches of how we want it to be. It is not Black's job necessarily in a normal world, in a functioning industry. The director is not the person that handles this. They direct, and they have a team of people who can do everything else past the actual shoot of the day, right? All I did was remove the burden of post-edit from Blacks, and so it's coming. Okay, so when you're saying involved, sorry, Marcus, when you're saying involved, you mean personally? No, I've never been in any kind of relationship romantically with Blacks, ever. I'm going to start at the general basic challenge. In the industry as it stands, we don't have so many functioning sectors within the industry. It's not even, it's not a business. It's not an entertainment business as a whole, all right? Which means that in a regular country, you have the record label, the PR, the marketing, the da-da-da-da-da. There's a whole list of jobs that entail how the music even gets to you, and then a whole nother list of people and et cetera, of people who handle the promotions, the tours, the et cetera, et cetera. We don't have that, all right? Then you have the economic yada, 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 right? So when a promoter calls you, and I read an article not so long ago about Sandra Ndebele explaining how a simple thing like a place to change is a challenge, a place to sleep. So I'm talking about 20 years ago, when my father needed to get to Bulawayo, the promoter would say, get here on your own, find a place to sleep, and you can get the door takings. Good luck, right? we got to a place where the promoters are like, okay, we'll pay you, but there's promoters who won't provide X, Y, and Z, bare necessities. So, I am an independent artist. Every product that you see is coming from my own pocket, right? In the rest of the world, they have a record label who are churning, you know, tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands and millions of dollars into these artists. We are self-funded in this country. So if the women aren't given the time and opportunity and the platforms, it's an array of reasons. Be it even socially, when a client would like to socialize with the artist. If I'm sitting with a client, somebody will just look at me and be like, what's going on there? Are you dating blacks? I'm just like, no, I'm sitting and I'm having a coffee. Like, give me a break. But if blacks was sitting with Ja, it's like, oh, they're having a meeting. Do you understand what I'm saying? So the relationships that you have between the clients, the promoters, you cannot even cultivate, because let's face it, a lot of the business that is done within our industry is based off of relationships. And my manager is also a woman. So I don't have a man standing in the front line, you know, saying A, B, C, D, and being respected in the same way. When a woman is telling you how to conduct the business, no, we will not take this. I'm going to speak to Ammara. Ammara still says no. That's why I don't like to put on my business face, because they don't like it when they see it. They don't know how to handle it, because generally as an African society, we have not accepted how powerful women can be within the working space, even in a general societal space. So we're battling with levels of challenges. You want to? I pretty much, okay, there you go.
I think I would like to say that we rise above it, we get through it, and over it, and under it, and we keep going. Really, it's not really anything worth dwelling on. And one of the reasons why I love the song that Ammara performed, it's one of my favorite songs on the album. It comes from just that. That was Glow in the Dark. It's the only a cappella song on the album. And just the meaning of it alone, I think, when you get a chance to listen to it, once the album's out, again, you'll understand. She poured out her heart specifically for those kinds of...
I've never witnessed a public figure that doesn't have haters. Even the Pope has haters. Even Mother Teresa. People were like, you know, everybody has something. They have situations where people will say what they want to say for the sake of, you know, gossip columns, for the sake of entertainment, you know. The human state of mind generally holds on to, for the sake of survival, of course, negative issues as a way to operate between love and fear. So if you fall down, coming down the stairs, you're going to watch how you go down the stairs because you remember how you got hurt, right? It's a negative mindset, but it produces something. When you see certain people in the public light doing certain things, being exposed of certain things that they actually did do, the next time you read about something, doing something, you're just like, I knew these people were not as good as they seem. You're having moments in your own head, and some people use it as an escape to get out of their own lives, to entertain themselves, to feel better about themselves. It's all these complicated issues that are just very, very long, and I used to get depressed about things like that, and eventually I realized that, you know what, even there's people who don't even like Obama in this world, and he's Obama. You know, there's a lot to love, but you can't please everyone with the things that you do. I care about the people who know exactly what I do and make their judgment in terms of my music. Everything else is really by the wayside, particularly when I haven't even done what they've said I've done. I've gone through enough hell and high water with those situations to just hold my head high through it and keep it pushing. Because at the end of the day, I'm not relevant because of a sex tape or a fake one or the gossip columns. I'm relevant because I'm a good artist. The vision or the plan?
They are interchangeably both.
There's two different things, because the truth is that the vision has always been there. Um, I think you remember a couple of years back when people wanted the music to, they wanted me to sound like a female Andy Brown, and I was like, no, I'm not the one. So we've stuck and tried very hard to cultivate that understanding that I am a pop artist, but we've made the music in a way that it doesn't just appeal to Zimbabwean people. Some of the challenges that our music has is even simply the language. Our numbers don't hold the same water as, say, bigger countries do. So even in terms of the push, because the push comes a lot from online noise, word of mouth, and we struggle with less numbers. However, that's not stopping me. There are a number of things we have planned for next year that I can't speak about yet. But the truth is that that is actually the goal, to become one of the biggest. Okay, well, how do I word this? I am one of the biggest female artists regionally in terms of the African continent, but just regionally, not continentally. So that is the next goal. After the album, next point of entry is not just securing the region or just the country, but it's the continent. And I can't tell you how we're going to do it yet, but you will definitely see. I've already signed to Oyos. Okay, so two-part question. For starters, the physical copy will be $10. Online will certainly be cheaper. And Oyos, iTunes, I've just recently signed a distribution contract with Oyos and Tizungo Datsacho, which is the TND brand. So my music, the entire album will be available online in, 150 something stores online. So we'll be fine. Yeah.
How many tracks are on the album?
14.
How many?
14,
40.
including intro and outro. Because it's a journey.
Okay. So, wow. Thank you very much for the questions. They were all fabulous. And Ammara did great. I thought,
Thank
yeah, you did answer them smartly and succinctly. Also, I'll just add that, look, the handicap that we have in Zim is that we all try to compare apples and oranges half the time. I think there are many paths that people can take to whichever stardom that they must arrive to. And it's not always sort of trying to say, oh, so this one has done this, so why isn't everyone else doing the same thing, and then measure them based on the same sort of examples. It's not who Ammara is, it's not who anyone else is. I think we have a great number of brilliant artists who are coming out from Zim. I am not for us saying we have only one artist who is, that one artist might be doing great, but there are many other platforms that and other genres and other tastes that I think in Zim our job should be to be able to have our audience be warm to new things, experiments. We can't have a pyramid which is a winner take all. I think we are poor as a country, and for taste, if our menu is only salsa and morio every day. So I thank you very much for this discussion. And yeah, in terms of women artists, look, I'm really proud that Ammara is there pushing it. We have very few female artists in this country. And yes, it touches from, the family, the society, the industry itself. Walter and I, we did a brave thing in June. We had an all-female show in Harare. The first time maybe people have really sort of gone all out to do it. So the efforts are there. And I think the team that is behind Ammara right now is going to make things happen. And we look forward to having you at the launch. Come, expecting the best taco. We're not gonna. It's gonna be good, and the music will shine through, and that's important. Thank you very much once again.
Hauna kana moyo hodo uchindi tendereza hodo hauna kana hana hodo uchindi tendereza